All right, Brambro back with some Grand Tactician Civil War CSA campaign in the 1.06 beta. I'll just lead off with saying, this campaign is focused on kind of looking at a lot of the 1.06 features and implications for gameplay and how to run the economy and get weapons and recruit troops under the new system, all that sort of thing. So here we are, episode 22, I think 24, and we're still in 1861. But there is a fair amount of activity going on in this campaign at the moment. Without going into all the details, we've got this Army of Tennessee under Albert Sidney Johnston, which at the moment just has one corps under Hardee. And they've been kind of playing whack-a-mole all up and down the Ohio River here. Fought a battle at Frankfort, fought a battle earlier up here around Cincinnati at Lawrenceburg. Had to come down here and chase the Federals away from Evansville. Came back to Louisville to kind of restock and maybe get a breather during the winter before heading all the way up the river here and helping Beauregard's army in Western Virginia near Grafton. So trying to get this corps up here to Beauregard, and this force, the West Virginia militia, under Winfield Scott, kind of blocking the way, started capturing Covington, came up here. I was kind of hoping that he would just retreat. No, he's standing and fighting. So we're about to have another battle here at Covington, Kentucky. So in we go. I'll pop in here, have a look at the map, deploy, see what the objectives are, all that sort of thing, and I will be back. Okay, it's a pretty straightforward situation. We're on the Copperton map, which is the one that has this big lake in one corner, and that really restricts movement. There's also a couple of fairly substantial rivers up in here. There is one objective. It is here. It says meeting engagement, but the objective is federal owned, federal controlled. So this is pretty much a defensive battle for him, an attacking battle for us. Usually, not always, but usually the AI actually kind of sets up a fairly decent defensive position at the start of these battles. And the terrain favors him through here, right? Not going to flank him across, this isn't passable. Swamp here, creek and river up here, more swamp here. I'm kind of expecting he's going to set up kind of in this area, may have some entrenchments, and we're more or less going to be obliged into a frontal attack, I'm pretty sure. However, took a look at the HQ reports, and as we saw in the troop levels ahead of time, we've got like 3 times the men. There are 2 Union infantry brigades and 1 rather smallish artillery battalion. It may in fact be a horse artillery battalion, and that's it. There's no cav, and there's only 2 brigades. And those 2 brigades, they're not a full 3,000. I think they may be medium-sized, somewhere in the 2,000 to 2,500 man range. Based on estimates, we'll see when we get there. So I've got the cavalry out in front. They're going to come up here and scout and just to confirm where the Federals are. And then the rest of the army is in march column, and they're going to come up here, and then we'll deploy into line and do what we have to do. And I'll be back whenever we get the Federal position scouted. Right, so the army is moving up into position. The cavalry came forward and sure enough found the Federals pretty much where expected. All 3 of their units are visible. Got kind of the cavalry kind of moving over on the flanks at the moment. The Arkansas mounted rifles are moving across this swamp, not under fire. They're going to take position. Actually, I guess I could just have them take the objective. No reason not to, I guess. They're kind of reacting to that. I'm not exactly sure what they're doing, but they're reacting to what they're seeing. But a little bit more marching to do. Just kind of was showing y'all where their position was, and we're going to form up kind of along in here and move in on them once all the infantry's up. Okay, so the army is still moving into position. Pierce on the left, Magruder here in the center with 3 brigades, and Pillow has gotten across this creek and is forming into line. The Arkansas Mounted Rifles have taken the objective, and they're just kind of hanging out here for the moment, dismounted. And we've got Forrest over here on the other side on this flank. But the artillery has moved up. I've unlimbered them, and I've put them in counter battery mode. Yeah, firing. Apparently this battalion is taking counter battery from the Federals and firing. Okay. And it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't think we're going to have an overnight deployment phase here. There's some woods here. Magruder's division is getting a little discombobulated. Their infantry brigades have backed out of their breastworks for some reason. I'm going to advance Pillow up a little bit. I want to get some skirmishers out, if only to maybe take the artillery fire off of our battalions. Let's bring them up to here. And I'm just putting these up here as just shoot at these guys instead. That's about all I'm doing. Once I get them up here, I'll probably lay them down. Artillery is counter-battering, but they're not really having too much effect on these guys. They are in cover in those breastworks. Right. Let's go ahead and advance Pierce's division. Let's go to about here. Hopefully those creeks and fences won't be causing them too much problems. We'll have to see. Forrest is feeling like feuding. So we've seen before what happens when he gets in that mood. Okay, are these guys taking artillery fire? They are not. go ahead and advance Magruder up to the edge of the woods. Somewhere about in here. And no, a little bit further than that. Yeah. Okay, let's put out some skirmishers on this side. Again, hopefully making the artillery pick another target. And we'll advance Pillow. About like that. Guy taking any losses at all. And he's taking a few more dudes, still has all 5 of his guns. It's alright. He's also taking a morale effect. Doesn't display it, but he is. Ah, skirmishers. Okay, well, let's see if we can get these skirmishers to get on the fence. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Hasn't lost a gun yet, but he is losing more men. That's good. Okay, not quite in range with his muskets. I'm just going to lay him down. There really here is a distraction, not to be doing any damage while the infantry continues to move up. Now these skirmishers may get in a position to... They've got rifles over here. Hopefully this brigade here under Little, he's going to be affected by some swamp terrain as he moves forward. Hopefully that doesn't work out too bad. So far he's intact and well rested though. Okay, let's move this division up a little bit more. I'll blank them a little bit to the right to keep the line of sight clear for the artillery. And we'll go ahead and do it via advance order. I think we're at a point where the Arkansas Mounted Rifles can come on up as well. Cav up. The force doesn't really have a, I mean, this creek is one thing, but if he gets over here, now he's got bigger creek to cross. I wonder if he can... I don't know. If I take him way over here to cross and then recover cohesion and fatigue and everything and then come up behind him. But I don't even know if that's passable. We've actually taken more casualties than they have. That won't last too much longer, I think. go ahead and get these skirmishers firing on the artillery battalion. Same with these. Come on up. Okay, let's see how Magruder's brigades are doing. Disrupted, cohesion, tiring. However, the two front brigades are in good shape. Frost will recover fairly quickly once he gets stationary. Give him just a little bit of time to recover, and then we'll push this division on in. Let's move Hardy and Johnston up. Okay, starting to get skirmisher fire on the battalion. And these guys are short range, but let's go ahead and move them up. Let's start trying to drive these skirms back in. Once he gets up here and actually starts shooting at Catterson's pickets, we'll get Anderson's pickets to do the same. I mean, he's firing, but he's only got like these two guys in range. He's just firing at the very ragged edge there. It says failing and winded, but actually he's coming up. He's recovering cohesion and fatigue, Frost. Notice how this guy just marched right up to position, but yeah, this guy over here in the swamp, his cohesion is dropping and he's way slower. Okay, this battalion has taken quite a few casualties, hasn't actually lost a gun yet, but he should start wavering pretty soon, I would imagine. I'm wanting to get this battalion out of the way because artillery doesn't actually cause a tremendous amount of casualties, but it has a pretty significant morale debuff. So I want to get them out of the way before I start sending the infantry brigades across that ground toward those breastworks. There he goes. Okay. How's Frost doing? I think that's good enough. He's the reserve brigade anyway. Alright. Magruder. Advance. Advance right up to and take cover on the reverse reverse side of the breastworks. Let's go ahead and pull these skirmishers in over here. Try to move these brigades up into range without getting themselves into that creek terrain. With Mississippi rifles, I think that will be close enough. And I'm actually gonna push Fry's brigade. Well, you know what? Here. Go ahead and go across the creek. And then once he starts moving, let's go ahead and tell Forrest to come on over here. That, man, he may get all kind of discombobulated. Tell Bushrod Johnson to go into long range. Let's tell Fry to go into long range. So Jonathan's firing now. And looks like Fry's firing. Well, Forrest is getting across there, not doing too bad. We can bring him right up in the rear. I want these guys on the reverse of the breastworks. Go. Huger's not doing too good there. Let's go put Frost kind of right in here, like so. Who is this? It's Huger's. Okay, let's pull these skirms back in. And as soon as Frost is up on that breastwork, I'll ease Huger back into reserve. That works. Okay, Huger, just come back here. Fall back. We've got cavalry getting into position to deliver some flanking attacks here, so you need to be up here with your brigades. Okay, he's retreating now. Probably a pretty sound decision on his part. Huger got bit pretty good there. We're at 1600 to almost 750. Obviously the percentages are enormously in our favor. Forrest, stop. Macintosh. Stop. Okay, Force, mount back up. Macintosh, mount back up. That's wrong. Okay, so this brigade has cohesion loss. Let's go ahead and have Force go charge that brigade. You like to do that sort of thing. And Macintosh, if I just tell him to charge now, he's going to get hung up on this brigade. So come over this way first. Maybe. Okay, Force is moving in. Sort of. I don't want you firing now, I want you charging. There he goes. Okay. I may not have moved him enough, but let's have Macintosh charge that low cohesion brigade. They're not broken, but they should have morale drop fast with that loss of cohesion. Alright, Forrest. Just keep working on him. Still in melee. Okay, let's see how Macintosh does here. Not as well as I would have liked. There he goes, broke him. Nice. Get some prisoners. Forced. What are you doing, bro? Sometimes they just keep charging, you know, and keep working on them, and sometimes they don't. I don't really know what the difference is. Okay. We've only got 3 minutes left. I think we got what we got. And 2,200, 1,400. Yeah. 40% losses for him, but we've lost 10% of our men, and I would really kind of prefer we hadn't. So, yeah, I mean, it was a lopsided, you know, we were never going to lose that battle. It was way lopsided, but still 1,400 losses. Which is almost 10% of our force, you know. Okay. Somehow we lost 5. Did we have a routed artillery battalion? No. Yeah, Stewart got banged up pretty good there. Lost 27 men. I think he lost a gun as well. Maybe French lost a gun? I don't remember what they had before that. He only lost 5 men. Oh, Scurry got beat up pretty good too. 33 men lost, 13 guns, so he may have been higher than that. Considering it was only 1 horse artillery battalion, that one battery counter-batteried us pretty good, I gotta say. Okay. Let's see how many prisoners we took out of that bunch. Almost 800 prisoners. Filling up our camps. Okay. Right here in this little loading screen, let me talk. West Pointers will lose less experience if promoted. Yeah, that's seen that. And have more skills in commanding units of their branch. Yeah, and I've seen the tooltips that describe, you know, this officer does X for infantry and Y for engineer. Yeah, I've seen those tooltips. I've never seen any, like, statistics that kind of show exactly by how much. And I can't really say I've ever noticed an enormous difference in performance on the battlefield. All right, glorious victory, yada, yada, yada. 752 men captured is what this telegram says. 1,800 more rifles and 7 more guns. Okay. However, what's our supply situation? Up here at Covington, I don't think it's going to be all that hot. We'll see. A short break for a moment. All right, so Scott should be retreating here momentarily. Let's get time rolling. Let's see which way he retreats. He may just come down here to this Maysville ferry, which means he's still in the way of us getting over into Western Virginia. McDowell's not moving. Apparently McClellan is not either. Matter of fact, he's undergoing some attrition. Although he doesn't have, estimated, he doesn't have too many sick. 200. Okay. There we go. Oh wow, we just completed a whole bunch of stuff there. Probably all those markets, right? Munfordville Market, yeah. Louisville Market, Huntsville Market, Chattanooga Market, Strawberry Plains Market. I think that's that one by Decatur. And then that one, yeah. What was that last one? Nashville, yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's look at our market influence map. This probably needs to run first. Oh, that's medical. Yeah, all through here now. Is that actually going to have a beneficial effect? I haven't the foggiest idea. We've had one comment, and also I kind of think maybe it's the same person who may also be, you know, saw a Steam post to the same effect saying, as far as I can tell, markets don't do jack. Maybe they don't. The general gist of the observation was, yeah, markets do increase infrastructure in an area, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the trade is being boosted, right? If there's X amount of trade and the infrastructure in the area is sufficient to support the current amount of trade, then there's no point in building a market. The fact that the infrastructure increases in the area doesn't then translate into increasing trade. I'm not saying I saw this. I'm explaining the gist of some of the observations that I've seen, that I've read. And that may very well be the case. So a lot of these markets may in fact have been superfluous if the local infrastructure was already sufficient. Which is a little dispiriting, I gotta say. So in order to find places where, okay, we do need a market because the infrastructure is not sufficient for what trade is trying to go through an area, then what we would want is this transport bottleneck map. And this is a little problematic. I think I've mentioned this before in that, like right now, I'm on the transport bottleneck heat map. And it's not showing anything. So one is led to conclude, I don't have any transport bottlenecks. The problem is, I've watched this map before off camera, and it'll suddenly flash, and you'll see red areas on the map. Oh, I guess I do have a transport. And then you go and look and try to figure out more detail and look at some of them, and then boom, it just flashes out again. And I've even seen that occur while time is paused. So that kind of tells me that just some kind of technical thing, data is not properly populating this thing. Maybe. Let's just run it for a little bit and see if we see anything. Watch it make a liar of me and it just stays blank. Ah, see, right there, boom. So now it's showing transport bottlenecks, and predictably enough, it's showing more. Some in western Kentucky and a big one, big bottleneck right here at Lexington, Kentucky. So this is a place where, yeah, the infrastructure is not supporting the goods that are trying to move through there. And that goes right back to, I've said it several times, I eventually want to complete this Cumberland Gap Railroad. I think that'll help. And looks like maybe Lexington really is a place where a market will actually do some good. Okay. And they're staying up. That's good. At least this seems a little bit more persistent. So this is a map we probably need to keep an eye on better. In places where we have built markets, like all along this coast here, okay, we're not, and there it goes, completely blank again. Does that mean that the transport bottlenecks are cleared now? Or is it simply not showing them? I don't know. I had time paused. Maybe that was why. Maybe it's something that only shows when you've got time running and keep time. Yeah. So this one's dynamic because the bottlenecks are temporary and it's only showing what's actually happening. And even if you pause time, that stops the goods moving and it stops sensing those bottlenecks. So this one is only good when time is running, is kind of what it appears to me from watching it. Okay, so union has gone, government funding won. All right, off you go. Except now they disappear again, and I didn't stop time. So you kind of have to catch this one, showing stuff. And there we go again. You know what? Okay, I'm convinced. I'm going to throw a market at Lexington. Maybe, if it lets me. There we go. Alright, how's, well, let's get Hardy off the damn river. I think he's on the river. No, he's not. Still, get in town here. As best you can. %77 supply. So this is a union hospital. So pretty obviously, I shouldn't get an effect from that. And I won't, yeah. So that hospital's medical, it's blue and it's on that side of the road. And that makes sense. That's the way it should be. Just going to run it to December 1st, and we'll see what the Intel and Econ reports say. McClellan has taken Grafton, but he doesn't look like he's interested in doing any more than that. No longer showing attrition. He has not finished his supply depot. Of course, he does have this one available, probably within range of that. And how was Garnet? What was, I just clicked out a hit newspaper headline. I don't know what that was. I hope it wasn't important. Garnet. Okay. Garnet needs to pull back and try to find some supply somewhere. Is he going to get enough back at Marietta? He was before. Come on back. I just hope it's enough. I mean, we found what we wanted coming over here looking at Grafton, so hopefully he'll get some more supply over here from these IIPs, and I'm kind of hoping supply is coming up the river. That was the whole, that wasn't the whole idea, but that was a part of the idea of establishing Confederate control of the Ohio. Which is a little iffy. We're being successful, but we are having to play a little bit of whack-a-mole to consolidate that control. Okay, is... Okay, Hill's Corps is fully constituted now. Let's go ahead and chop Hill's Corps to the Army of Tennessee. And here we are, kind of that same situation again. It's November, and I mean, one option is to move him by rail all the way around, or have him march across the Cumberland Gap up to Lexington. Honestly, don't know which one's going to be faster. Well, let's let him pick. If I get the correct. Come on. Hill's Corps. Let's do it this way. Hill's Corps. Want him to come up to Lexington, Kentucky. Or do I? No. Go to Louisville. And if we turn, yeah, if I tell him it's okay to use railroad, he does see that it's faster to go that way. That's fine. Ooh, taking forever to get that order to get to him because it's coming from Johnston all the way up here. I should have ordered him to go there while he was still in Cooper's command. And then once he started moving, then chop him over to Johnston. That's what I should have done. How is Hardee doing now? Not great. It's getting a little bit of... Sometimes it shows you're getting supply from a enemy-owned IIP, which obviously is not right, but it shows that all the time. So now I'm wondering, do I need to move Hardee back down to Louisville for the hospital and the... Or should I bite the bullet and just build another supply depot up here? I don't really want to. But I think I'm going to. Crap. Yeah. Especially with the other core coming up. I don't want 2 cores sitting there at Louisville. And how long is that going to take? 37 days. Okay. As long as we're moving guys around, let's put Cooper. Let's put him over here close to Bragg at Nashville. Okay, is Garnett in any better situation now? Probably not now. Well, it's better, but it's not good enough. That percentage is climbing, though. I think he may be okay. Okay, it is December 1st, so we should have a new econ report. Credit rating A-. It's actually showing A up here, so our credit rating is still good. It's been bouncing between A and A- pretty much this entire campaign. Our overall debt isn't any higher. It still says 90 million. Recovery, mediocre. It is decreasing now. Tax revenues decreased a little bit during the last month. 9 buildings during the last month. The brickworks, the hospital, and all those markets. Okay. Exports increasing a tiny bit. Imports increasing a ton. The trade balance is actually getting worse. Corporate production getting a little better. We're into the thousands now. We're not in the hundreds anymore. And we still lack the same crap. Artillery, ammo, iron, locomotives. Our stocks are full of salt, though. Yeah. All right. What's Intel say? Okay, they're working on the Tariff Act. Okay. No information on projects. Relations with Spain, 0. Says they haven't recruited any more men. That may or may not be true. They've built yet more ships, or started building more ships. 87% Army morale. It's dropped off. That makes sense with the battles we've had recently during this month. And they're still carrying out offensive operations. Well, all right then. I think that will do it for this episode. If you like what we're doing, the content on the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. But at any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.